Schools are locking their courts. Several schools in my area have all had their courts locked and you need to buy a key in order to use them. It's also true for the track and field. You also have to have a key in order to access the track and run on the track. This is how they're using the courts and public facilities to make money. Also, coaches are now allowed to coach on public parks and in schools. There's something called coaching permits, where they're able to pay for the coaching permits and then use those permits to coach on public courts. And once in my local school, there was like this Chinese group, and they basically took like a bunch of coaches, like a couple coaches. They would pay them like $30 an hour, and they would have like a huge group of kids, literally just a huge group of kids, just play there. It's absolutely insane. They would have like this take these two courts. It'd be so noisy. They're just like basically just getting so much money from this operation. Like I think like after like a few weeks, it got stopped. Like that's just how I know how extreme it is. The coaching problem here. So many coaches now working in public parks. Maybe you noticed that it used to be not allowed, and now it's just allowed. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Coaches usually stay on the court for a very long time. Like I mean, very long time. Some of them stay for like the entire day. It's like they're just their full-time job. They just use the entire court. That court is basically just fully booked for the entire day. Imagine that. You cannot even use the court at all if you're like a public person wanting to go to the court. The thing that happens when there's like no courts is that people actually start fighting for courts. So like the other day, there was a guy who was waiting for courts, and then he asked me like how long I would stay for. And at first, I said I would be like, oh, I was almost done because I was about to finish the set with the person I was hitting with. But then the person I was hitting with said they wanted to just like stay there for another 45 minutes. So I just told the guy behind us that we're gonna play for another hour. But instead, he was like shocked that I said I want to play for another hour. And then he started saying like, thank you, I appreciate it. And at first, I was like really confused, right? Like, why is he saying that? So I said like, yeah, no problem. And he continued saying that like, yeah, you're good. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. And then that's when I realized that he was like pissed and he was like fighting for a court. You know what I mean? And that's honestly like the guy was just like hella pressed. He's like, you're just mean. Like, there's not much you can do with these people. But if you want my tip for like dealing with these people, like, don't insult them back because that would mean that they won, right? They would win if they hurt your feelings and you say like, yo, like, why doing this? Makes you happy? Like, if you were to say that, for instance, then it would make you lose because you're gonna be sucked into their trap. But instead, if you were to say like, you're welcome, and you were like, give him like a bow, like that, like think about it. Like, there's nothing he can do after that. Like, he's gonna be at a loss for words, right? And there's also another time when like I told you about how coaches can have permits now. Well, there's like a guy playing on like a court next to me, and then the coach came and just said that he has the court reserved because he always says that even though he doesn't have the court reserved. He reserves it like once a month and then he just tells everyone that he has it reserved. And then the guy asked him for proof. And then he couldn't give them any proof. So they were just like having like a straight up argument. And then after like 30 minutes, the guy who had the court just decided to leave because he didn't want to have any more of the argument anymore. Like these are kind of like things that are happening because coaches and courts are getting locked up. So they're squeezing people together. People want to play, right? It's normal. Like tennis is fun, right? People want to play. And when you take out all the courts, like people just have to start fighting with each other. It's honestly like pretty like it's problematic, but it's also like pretty funny at the same time. Now there's also a system of renting courts. People can go to the school and request like let's say this 2 hour block and rent it. The problem comes when coaches use it. Because for high schools, you don't just need a permit. You also have to rent the court. So coaches rent the court, they get priority. If someone were to come, let's say the time before and start playing, let's say they play for 15 minutes, they get kicked off because the coach has booked that court. And these coaches, they book the court for like let's say like 1 hour. And then they keep using it after. And they tell people that, oh, I have this court booked. They keep using it for the rest of the day. That court is just fully gone You cannot. It's basically like the -1 court in like that public area. Except many coaches are doing this. Many. Because think about it. They don't have to rent an indoor facility, right? They can just use public facility, free money for them. They save that much money. And once in my local school, middle school, we literally got there. Someone just straight up told us, like some manager there, straight up told us that all courts have been rented. Think about that. 0 courts were available for the public. Every single one of them was for business purposes. That's pretty crazy. And the thing is, we are taxpayers, right? We literally paid for the construction of these courts. There's absolutely no excuse for us to not be able to use these courts for free. We should be the ones using these courts. And there's also no notice, right? We never were told of a decision and how this decision was made that the area decided to switch to coaching permits and rental court system. 0 notice at all. We have no idea how the decision was even made. So why are they doing this? Well, cities and school districts make money, a lot of money from this. Previously, they made none, and they actually lost money because there's maintenance costs. Now, with less people using the courts, locking the courts up, right? Locking the courts up, it reduces the maintenance costs. They don't have to pay for like the nets, remodeling the court, that kind of stuff. Many local courts that have like really old, their nets are like broken. There's like holes in them. Well, the schools can just avoid this. They don't let anyone play on the courts anymore. So why does this matter? Well, tennis courts are already pretty scarce. As you know, the pickleball revolution, pickleball surge, especially in my state. I live in Washington. Washington, pickleball is the state sport, so that's even worse for us. And many families can't afford expensive memberships in clubs, right? Like tennis clubs. So they don't even have access to courts anymore. They rely on these public parks to practice, to play, have fun. But when you have coaches literally just blocking out the court, no one can use them anymore. And courts are also beneficial for public health. As we know in America, we have a huge obesity problem here. If we don't let people exercise, and tennis is a great way to exercise, don't let people exercise, public health crisis is only going to get worse. So we have to do something about this. I don't know what we need to do, but this is just simply not okay.